Good afternoon. Ayedatiwa orders audit of forest reserves. Government threatens retaliatory measures against attack. On the foreign scene, Kenyans protest against Ebola quarantine center. And in sports, Osimhen to Lukman to Galatasaray. Details of these and more in a moment. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you back. Now the news and details beginning from the home front. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has ordered a full boundary audit of the disputed forest reserve linked to the Rex Forestry Limited in Ondo West local government area. The governor issued a directive on Monday during a meeting with farmers from 27 communities affected by the dispute. It said the state would adopt a structured land use framework that accommodates both farmers and investors within clearly defined boundaries, stressing that speculations would not guide government decisions. Away from Ondo State and now to Oyo State, the Oyo State government has demolished a 3-bedroom bungalow allegedly used as an hideout by kidnappers involved in the abduction of the younger sister of former Minister of Power, Chief Bayo Adelabu, and her children. The properties located in the Lako community along the Ayedun-Anoye Road area of Ibadan was pulled down by officials of the Oyo State Ministry of Public Works and Transportation, accompanied by operatives of the Nigerian Police Force. The demolition followed investigation into the abduction of Olaide Adegoke and a 12-year-old twin sons, Peter and Paul, who were kidnapped at the Elewura in the Challenge area of Ibadan on Wednesday, June 3, 2026. Away from that, marketers of liquefied petroleum gas known as cooking gas have explained the real reason behind the continuous price surge in the last 3 weeks across Nigeria. The spokesperson of the Oil and Gas Supplier Association of Nigeria, NAGASA, and Nigerian Independent Petroleum Company PLC, NNPCL, Nikpo, Chinedu Ukadike, and Taufik Lawal, respectively, in separate interviews, blamed the LPG price hike on seasonal challenges, a surge in demand, and scarcity. Report says cooking gas price rose between 40 to 66% to 1,400 per kilogram and 2,000 naira per kilogram from 1,000 and 1,200 naira in Abuja and its environ. The federal government has expressed displeasure over attack on Nigerians residing in South Africa, saying the present administration is considering possible retaliatory measures over the attack. Addressing the state correspondent, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bianca Odumegu Ojoko, stated that any final decision on what Nigerians would do requires a consideration at the highest level of government, including the National Assembly. She highlighted that while over 1,200 South African companies operate in Nigeria, at their biggest African markets, Nigerians and South Africa face constant harassment while dismissing assertion from some South African officials that the targeted Nigerians are undocumented. This media news is coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM in Murele Owo. Still to come on the foreign scene, Kenyans protest against Ebola quarantine centers, and in sports, Osimhen to Lukman to Galatasaray.
Whether you're tuning in for breaking news, in-depth analysis, or community updates, High Power 102.7 FM remains your most trusted source. Because when it comes to news, the truth matters. High Power FM 102.7.
Welcome back. To be a part of our program, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok at iPower1027FM. We are also on Radio Garden. Now to the foreign scene. Several Kenyans have been arrested in the latest protest against an Ebola quarantine center being built for U.S. citizens in a tourist town. The center at the Laikipia Air Base in the town of Nanyuki of Mount Kenya is set to quarantine Americans arriving from the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, which is battling a major Ebola outbreak. Kenya has never recorded a case of Ebola, and many oppose the idea of being potential carrier of the highly contagious disease into the country. The center is due to have a 50 isolation bed and be managed by the U.S. staff, and was nearly completion late last week. Moving on, still on the foreign scene, more than 300 migrants heading to the UK last summer were kidnapped, tortured, and threatened with forced organ removal. The young man, all Ikwa, were captured in Libya by the militants who demanded a ransom of $50,000, €3,700 from each of their families, and threatened to harvest their captives' kidneys if payment were not prompt. At least one hostage is known to have died, and it's unclear how many remain in captivity. In sport, Galatasaray have listed the help of a Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen in their pursuit to fellow Nigerian forward Ademola Lookman, asking the striker to use his influence to convince his international teammate to make the move to Istanbul this summer. According to Turkish footballer outlet Photomark, the Turkish champion are understood to be seriously interested in signing Lookman for the Atletico Madrid, where the 28-year-old have been one of the club's side most impressive performer since joining the Atlanta in a deal worth €35 million in the January transfer window. Galatasaray's decision to approach Osimhen as an informal mediator reflects the scale of the challenge they face in pulling off the transfer. Lookman contribute 5 goals and 4 assists in 24 appearances for Diego Simeone's side, helping them reach the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League and the final at the Copa del Rey, with crucial goals against Barcelona in both competitions. To end the iPower 102.7 FM Midday News, let us take another look at the main points. We told you in the cast of the bulletin that the Ondo State Governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, has ordered a full boundary audit of the disputed forest reserve linked to Rex Forestry Limited in Ondo West local government area. We equally informed you that the federal government has expressed displeasure over attack on Nigerians residing in South Africa, saying the present administration is considering possible retaliatory measures over the attacks. On the foreign scene, we informed you that several Kenyans have been arrested in the latest protest against Ebola quarantine center being built for U.S. citizens in a tourist town. And in sport, Galatasaray have enlisted the help of Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen in their pursuit to fellow Nigerian forward Ademola Adeleke. Ademola Lukman. And that was the iPower 102.7 FM Midday News, edited by Akin Adebayo. I am Florence Ibhareman. Many thanks for listening. Good afternoon.